Hey, Phoenix. Good to see you, sister. How you feeling? Hi, Krista. Hi, Sam. I saw someone else join. Who else has joined? Raspberry Phoenix. Welcome. Hi. Hi, Ivy. Hi, how are you? Thanks again for subscribing, Ivy. Hi, Miss Bubbleheads. I'm well. Thank you. How are you? Hi, Anna. Hi, Elena. Been better today. Did some grounding. Yeah, grounding helps a lot. I wish I could say that I did it more often, but I try to come out each night, and I go with Elena and we go and watch the sunset as much as we can, almost every night, which is beautiful. Hi, Patty. Hi, Michelle. Hey, yo, what's up? Hi, Karen. Hi, Inner Quality. Thank you. Some comments in this live were filtered due to protect the community's experience. Interesting. I wonder what kind of comments could have possibly been censored. Oh, thank you, Emily. Your heart's incredible as well. Hi from Florida. Hi. Hello in Florida from Mississippi here. Long time since you've seen me, right? Yep. It's been a hot minute. I have been going through my own healing journey. July whooped my butt. And I'll talk a little bit about that, of course. Hi, Angie Love. I've been okay. It's been rough, honestly. So I'm just about through a lot of my integration. So I've made it through most of my integration where I can actually start to put myself out there a bit. But I went through quite a healing journey. Pretty much it started like mid-June, but it really got kicked off through July. Pretty much the first week of July, I completely blew out my nervous system. And so, yeah, it was pretty brutal. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, I'm back, so I'm ready to be out there a little bit. When I go through those type of periods where I'm processing some deep stuff, and a lot of it's contractual stuff that I have agreed to over this incarnation. And when those agreements that are being played out, not only in this incarnation, but are connected multidimensionally through this incarnation, those misalignments, anything that's misaligned from those different experiences, different versions of self, different aspects of Tael, if they're doing things that aren't in my highest good, which they were at some point, it's all serving, but eventually it's time to let a lot of those contracts go, and because they were really starting to cause me harm, cause a lot of damage to my nervous system and my body. So some of the things were things I wasn't aware of, some of the things I was aware of. I'll talk a little bit more. Hi, Rachel. Excited to do the classes. Yeah. So we're going to be doing a class. So first time we're doing an online class. So I have announced very briefly, but that's kind of, I'm going to jump on live some more to talk more about it. But this is kind of like a pilot. So I am doing a energy healing class on August 27th, and it's really I want to just kind of like dump so much data. I want to give like all the different resources, all the different techniques and tools to assist people, but really it's designed to be kind of like a foundational class. It's going to have so much in it, but I'm going to be sharing kind of I guess you would say like more clairsentient based energy healing techniques, because I would be considered clairsentient, which means that the way that I interface primarily with spirit is through feeling. So clairsentient is clear feeling, so I can feel energy very tangibly. And I don't really access visualizations at all. So I don't visualize, so I don't use my imagination, which a lot of energy healing modalities and techniques, they rely a lot on your imagination or your visualizations to assist. So I picked up on these different techniques through really just getting into meditative states and then just naturally coming into a lot of these different techniques, and then over time realizing, oh wait, this actually works in this way, and why is that? And a lot of them that I'm going to be sharing, I haven't actually heard other people share at all. So really it's feeling based, and that's where you want to get anyway. So when we're working with visualizations, especially when it comes to energy healing, when we're working with visualizations, it's really to get us into that feeling state. So just like a small percentage of people can't visualize, there's a very small percentage of people that don't feel tangibly as well. So they estimate around 1%. So there's still going to be techniques that are shared that are not, just feeling based. So I'll be sharing some metaphysical tools, some metaphysical, more cosmic aspect type energy healing techniques, some that will use imagination, but a lot of it's going to be based on feeling. So it's going to be a little bit different. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Badrone, am I pronouncing that right? Ally, welcome, brother. How are you feeling? It's good to see you here. Yeah, it's been a hot minute, Lizzie. I have been working through misalignment. So some people may be aware, I'm assuming most people are not. I've committed to an accelerated ascension path for the next 12 months. Well, it's essentially a 12, 13-month initiation process. So it's an accelerated organic ascension path. So we're working through our geomantic blueprints to really do a lot of work this year in clearing out misalignments and letting go of contracts that aren't serving. So a big thing with me is I've been involved in a lot of different areas in this incarnation. Different aspects of my multidimensionality have worked in a lot of different groups, and those contracts are definitely time to be released because those misalignments were causing me a lot of discordance, a lot of pain. So it's been interesting the last couple of months. Let me turn this down. I can't think and talk at the same time. Or listen and talk. But how's everybody feeling? Goddess Raven asked, how did your light language start? It got activated. So through a lot of just going through and just focusing on healing, really. I pretty much immersed myself in all things healing. And some of those techniques that I will be sharing in the class are techniques that I was using that helped me step more into my light linguistics and my light languages, because your own intuition is going to really be the best guide for you. So everybody's responsibility is to heal themselves. And through that process, you heal things from your childhood, you start healing things from, in your adulthood, and then you start to heal things and integrate things from other experiences, quantum lives. And sometimes when you do that, it comes with integrating those aspects and some of those functionalities. And some of the functionalities of these different aspects are different tools, one of those being light languages or light linguistics. So I think that we all have our own light languages that we can tap into, what I might call like our soul language. And then there's just different levels of awareness and just like understanding when it comes to utilizing these tools. So there's light language that can be vocalized, you can express it that sounds like different languages and weird sound effects and all sorts of different things. Obviously you can use the movement of the body. So essentially using your hands and as an extension of your awareness and your intentions, which work with the different harmonics. So you're essentially playing your energy field like an instrument using different mudras. That can be written out, so it can look like scripts and different glyphs and codes. It can get expressed in a lot of different ways. But yeah, so that's essentially where it came through. You feeling those magnetic activations? Pika's coming to an end. Yes, yeah, that's definitely, I felt it. So there was a big magnetic wave that comes through about the first week of August, right? That's what people often are referring to when they're talking about the Lion's Gate energies. So the Lion's Gate alignment is actually, it's a little bit different than what a lot of people kind of are thinking it is, because it's a very specific alignment. Now, that doesn't mean that 8-8 isn't a special time. So there's a certain magnetic wave, and that's not something I have a lot of information about. That's not something, that's definitely not my forte. Like alignments in astrology is not really what I'm great at. But there's a big magnetic wave that comes through at the beginning of August, and that's kind of wrapping up as far as I'm aware, unless you're referring to something else, Ally. But then the authentic, what Lionsgate alignment, that the portal that opens up is on, I think it's like the 23rd or the 24th of this year. I have a different vibe since I saw you last about 2 months ago. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really talked to people much. Like, I've been in my cave. So even like putting myself out there, even seeing myself on camera has been a little weird. And I am still integrating a bit too. So I have a couple more weeks of integration, and when I go through those periods of intense processing, I pretty much have to self quarantine because I'm so sensitive, and there's a lot of what bothers my body and my energy field has to do with things that aren't in alignment for me. So I have to like completely shut myself out at times, and I have a very sensitive nervous system, and since I blew that out, and which, I mean, when you blow out your nervous system, you can't do anything. Like, I couldn't look at my phone. Even when Elena would come into my field, like, I couldn't look at her in the face just because, like, just the energy of her eyes was too much. You know, I'd jolt, and I couldn't hold on to things. It was pretty intense. So I had some assistance to help with that, and have been, which helped a lot, but it was a really long integration process still that I'm still working through. So forgive me as I'm trying to get grounded a little bit. It's weird to be on a live and feel everybody's energy again as well. So if I'm a little bit off too, that's part of it. I don't know. Hi Ashley. The sensory overload is loud. Yeah, I mean, it's brutal. If you've had nervous system issues, I've got to be careful the way I say stuff. If you've experienced having a really sensitive nervous system, or having, like, some people will have really hard experiences when they get their Kundalini activated. It's kind of similar to that, where there's actually, I don't like to say this, but right now I'm working through authentically healing it, and a big part of my problem with this has been that I don't talk about it because I'm trying not to manifest it more, but because of the resistance of not wanting to talk about it, it's kept it around, right? So what you resist will persist. And so I was diagnosed with cysts inside my spinal cord in like 2010. So there's actually like cysts that are inside my cervical and thoracic spinal cord. So it messes with the cerebral spinal fluid, the pressure in the cerebral spinal fluid. And so when there's a lot of increase in energies, or I put a lot of strain on it, it can have negative side effects. And so that's essentially what's happened. So we're going through a big initiation process, and that comes with a lot of activations, and those activations are increasing the access you have to your own frequency, and if your body isn't in the right space, that can cause things to take place, and that's what happened. So it blew out. But where was I going with that? I feel like it had something to do with it. I don't know. It's going somewhere. Up until now, yeah. Up until now, that's why I usually try to say, like, I was diagnosed. Like, somebody said something, like, because to me, it's in my reality. I just pretend it's not there. But I've done a lot of like meditation on it. And because it's really frustrating. It's one of those things that doctors diagnose. They said it's incurable. It's terminal. They even, like, when I got diagnosed with it, they even said there's 100% chance you're going to be a paraplegic, and there's a really good chance you're going to be a quadriplegic. And I was like, what? I was like, what? I just have headaches. Like, doesn't, like, what? And so yeah, and so that I went down that path of, like, kind of buying into. That was a long time ago. Went down the path of buying into everything that Western medicine was telling me, and I didn't believe it at first. Like, they had actually even put me in with, like, counseling. Like, I had to go to, like, a psychiatrist and a therapist, because they were counseling me on, like, having a terminal illness, and I I was so far from that. It was like 24 years old. But then it starts to like program you, right? You start to kind of buy into it. And then when you're in so much pain and you're having so many physical symptoms, you kind of go into that victim mode. And I went into that victim mode really hard. They just give you every type of medication you can imagine. And of course that doesn't help in the long run. And it didn't. And so eventually I gave up on Western medicine, and because of my resistance, there's still a lot of that's still playing out. So I was like, oh, F Western medicine, like completely F them. Like, I don't want to see doctors, this da-da-da-da. I pushed them away really, really hard. And I've been seeing a lot of that pushback because of that resistance that I have to it. So right now I'm really kind of like finding a neutral place where we can have that, that symbiotic relationship with Western medicine, and then of course energy medicine that we know is legit. I think that's a big frustration too, is that they program you into this idea that you can't be fixed, and you're only going to be treating the symptoms. And if we buy into that we make it our reality. And unfortunately, I did that for quite some time. But so now I'm just kind of working through and reconciling that. And when physical issues come up so strong, it's something you can't really push away, because it's like a lot of times we can get out of reality quite a bit, right? Like when we dive into all this woo-woo stuff, we can be like, oh no, we can't do this, can't do that, and this stuff is bad, and we can kind of like push everything away and make it's like a bit inauthentic at times. When in reality we need to be grounded in what is real and authentic, because just because we say we don't have something doesn't mean that we don't. There's a lot of the subconscious and unconscious programs that are playing out that we authentically have to come to those misalignments and reconcile. Thank you, Elena. Hi, Quartz. All right, I've been blabbing away enough. I said I wasn't. I told myself I wasn't just gonna blab away randomly, and I'm doing it. How's everybody feeling? What's new? Where have I been? I was just talking about it, Avian, going through my own healing process, reconciling a lot of misalignments. I'm curious. Now, this might be going off the deep end quite a bit, but does anybody here have experiences with secret space programs or with some of these like secret programs? Because a big part of what I've been reconciling the last couple months is related to some of these programs that I've been involved in, and some military connections that I've been involved in. But I'm also seeing it play out at a collective level as well. So I think there's a lot of these things are coming up in the Awakening Collective. But I was just curious if others have any conscious awareness of being connected to these secret space programs. And if so, I would love to hear your thoughts or anything that you'd like to share. Is asteroid jasper? I can't say for sure, Phoenix. I'm not sure what it actually is, but it's some type of jasper, I think. What do I know about the light force? I'm not sure, Quartz. Probably not much. I'm not really I don't know much about much, unless it comes up in so that's why I'm having a hard time with all of this, because I've been aware intuitively of my involvement with secret space programs for a really long time, but because of what I was experiencing and what I was downloading, I didn't believe it, and I'm still having a really hard time believing it. So there's a lot of physical issues that I have that have been related to some of the technologies that are associated with these programs, in order for us that have been in the programs to not truly remember it fully, and not I don't want to say what's occurred without actually knowing what's occurred, but it's been implied that a lot of my memory issues are related to this idea. So I have a very fleeting memory. Let's say my memory is getting better and better every day, but I forget all sorts of stuff. I have a autobiographic memory. So I barely remember anything that I've experienced. I barely remember yesterday. I forget stuff all the time. You can ask Elena. It's fleeting, but apparently some of this is connected to these programs. Lion's Mane. I do take Lion's Mane. Oh, is Kimberly in here? Hi! No, but I wish I had some experience with the secret space program, or maybe I don't wish that. Yeah, I mean, I honestly can't say. I mean, I've heard what other people that have been in the programs have expressed, but of course that's just secondhand knowledge. And the stuff that I've kind of been downloaded, I don't know how else to say it, I have a hard time believing it. So, I mean, it's so far out from what we know from a physical perspective, you know, like in the mainstream awareness, that it just feels like absolutely crazy. And I know what you know, all this stuff is already crazy, right? But it feels just that much more crazy. My daughter should be in the secret deep space program. She may be. Feel like on the verge of major changes into my life on many levels. Awesome, Wonder Mom. I don't know if I'm paranoid, but half the time I hear something crazy, I feel like it's personal. No, we are the glitch. That's a beautiful observation, because in all honesty, I think that like everything is personal. Like everything in our outer reality is reflecting something back to us, that there's something within us that is being shown to us. So like I was mentioning earlier, is that I interface a little bit differently with reality than other people, right? So if you've heard of the term like aphantasia, it means you don't visualize it. I have no inner visuals. I actually don't even access my imagination, which is a little bit different than your inner visuals. And I also don't have an inner monologue. I don't have any inner sounds. So with me to really kind of feel into what's going on internally, I really kind of allow my outer reality to reflect things back, and recognizing that everything in my outer reality represents something within me. Now, it's not always going to be direct, but there's always going to be an aspect to it. Now, we also incarnate into a collective consciousness as well, right? So we all agree to be humans and be on this beautiful planet together. So we kind of like adopt things that maybe aren't necessarily completely personal to us, but still there's always something in our outer reality that's reflecting something from within us. So with that awareness, that's how I get a lot of my hits, and all like setting intentions that I want to know certain things, like I want to recognize certain ideas, and then just becoming very aware of what comes up in my reality synchronistically, right? Everything that comes up, you know, even if you're on TikTok, there's some aspect to it that may be showing you something if you're looking for it. You know, movies, you start to, you know, watch movies and recognize, okay, well that part of me, I remember that. And just let's say like Marvel movies, I always remember, like the first time I go to see like a movie, like in a cinema, like a Marvel movie, I'll be like crying at the most like ridiculous parts. Like if somebody's using a power or something, I'd start crying, or like the bad guy has a certain plot and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like I remember playing that role in other other experiences, and so but it's a feeling thing. You kind of like ping pong those feelings off, and it won't make sense at some points, right? But later on it might make sense. Like there's movies that you can watch again and again at different points in your life, and you'll get different. It'll be like watching it for the first time, because you have different activations of self that are now able to reflect certain aspects of those movies back to you, right? Like that's why I can watch a lot of these Marvel movies again and again, because each time I watch it, I can see it through a lens of a different character. So looking at it from a different aspect of self. But yeah, everything, that's how I interface with my inner reality, is by really putting things out there, and then like almost like an echo, you know, like a echolocation, kind of like a dolphin, like feeling things come back. Is that true for me, or is that not true for me? Is this true for me at this moment? Like, does this resonate? And just kind of feeling out what takes place. Avian says, you opened up so much that I have been receiving ever since. Well, that's all you, sister. But that's beautiful that you expressed that, because I'm honored to be part of your process. Part of your permission to yourself to start to remember more of who you are. Ace Ventura, that's funny, Supa, because we were just watching Ace Ventura, like just watching that. It just came up, and there was a lot in that movie that I hadn't really thought about before. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but there's a lot in it that I was like, oh yeah, it's like I'm watching it like a completely different movie now as we've, activated more. Bug's Life. Sorry if I'm missing comments and questions, guys. I'm blabbing away. I apologize. I'm gonna kind of scroll back up. I apologize if I'm all over the place too, because I've been in recluse mode. I've been in quarantine mode. So it's like, it's honestly super awkward talking on, seeing myself for one on camera, but also like talking so much because I've been so quiet, and then having to communicate and make sense and not be completely insane. Appreciate. I don't know if I felt guilt or grandeur. I'm still decompressing. I appreciate you. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, and I think that happens a lot with a lot of people when they start to awaken a bit, is that they start to tune into that aspect of reality that everything, is you too, and it's not at the same time. Like, to me, everything is kind of like paradoxical. So it is you and it's not you, right? You're only you. Nobody else is ever going to be you. Nobody else has your perspective. Like, we are all one, but at the same time, we're still separate. And I think that's beautiful. But yeah, a lot of times people will come into these awarenesses really, really quickly and without any type of integration, and it can send you into like spiritual psychosis, and you can think that, you can come up with all sorts of different ideas, and they're it's all part of the process. But some people can go really, really deep, and it's really difficult for them to come back out. Just like personal experiences, like when I was going through a lot, through my healing like going through being diagnosed, going through doctors. I was hospitalized all the time. I mean, I was going to the ER like once a month. I'd be hospitalized every 6 months or so. And later on, just up until probably it was like 2015 to 2017, not even I don't know, around that time, I started to go into like mental hospitals because of the depression was really bad, and I was really wanting to check out. And so I would go into mental hospitals, and what I would notice is that everybody, like so many people there, are going through a spiritual awakenings. And I was aware, like I got activated in 2010. So in 2010, when I got activated, it essentially blew out my nervous system. Like the activation was so intense on my nervous system that like I have scars from it. So like I would just start getting burns through my arms, like just coming out of nowhere. It would just painless burns that would come up on my upper arms. And they left scars. They didn't hurt, but it was coming up all the time. So that's when I got activated. And as soon as I got activated, I all of a sudden started to get really into spiritual stuff. I started to meditate all the time. I was only sleeping a few hours every few days, but I was meditating all the time. Like I was just constantly meditating. I was into, looking into, psychic stuff. I was collecting crystals. I was doing all sorts of things. I even got like a Reiki, like this tattoo here is based on the Reiki hearth symbol. I didn't even know what Reiki was, but for some reason I was just drawn to that. But yeah, so I got activated, and then I was going through a process, all that time. And then eventually, went into the mental hospitals, and just a lot of people are, they're just working through their stuff. And yeah, it's really sad because Western medicine really wasn't offering anybody anything. There was no healing going on. They would just try to medicate you, and it was really hard to watch. But it's interesting because the most recent time, I got a lot of people's numbers and stuff, and like everybody, we're all connecting together. And I hadn't looked at it for years, and I found one of my old folders, and started to go through it, and I saw everybody's numbers and their contacts, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna hit these people up and see if they remember anything. You find them on social media or whatever, and they're all like awakened now, right? They never got back to me. Nobody got back to me because I'm sure they don't remember who I am, but I've changed a lot. But I just find it really interesting, and a lot of people actually with the condition that they diagnosed me with are very tapped in. So it's really interesting that a lot of people that are going through this similar condition are really like, I think it's really like there are certain abilities and gifts are coming online, and the physicality just doesn't really support it. Because that's been a big issue with what's going on with me physically, is that my signature frequency just doesn't fit with my physical body at this time. And that's going to take a lot of work on a number of angles, which I've designed to make sure that I can really embody who I am, because I can't cheat. There's no way for me to cheat. Like, I have to do the work on all angles. And, you know, I'm not doing the best job I can. I'm working hard on it. Of course, I could always be doing better. But, you know, a big part of it is the physicality. And that's, I think a lot of us kind of neglect the physicality of it when we jump into, you know, our gifts, and we, you know, become more spiritual, whatever you want to label it as. We kind of like, we forget to be grounded in the physical. So a big part of that is really, that's a big next phase for me, is to really get my physicality back, and you know, get physically strong, so that your frequency can be supported in the physical body. Because we're gonna, as we activate more of who we are, you know, that there's a lot of frequency, and that can burn us out. And I got burnt out. Constantly told to slow down. Yes, I'm constantly telling myself to slow down, especially when I get all like excited. I'm like a little boy. I'm like a toddler in adult frame, and I'm always trying to go a million miles an hour. But it's funny because Elena goes really fast too. So seeing her move really fast all the time helps me remember to slow down. Hi, Amber. You want a reading? We can collaborate, something like language or readings, raw and honest though. Korean, yeah, I'm down to chat. Currently I'm not really working with people though. I have to go through a few more weeks of integration, so I'm not really letting people into my field too much at this time. It's nothing personal, of course. But yeah, so I was thinking we can sling a little magic. I want to do some healing work, share a little bit. Does anybody have any questions before we do so? I'm like, I gotta stop talking. Oh, I missed you too, Amber. I missed everybody. Yeah, and for anybody that is interested, okay, Elena, I'll talk about the bracelets. So we're starting to make bracelets and sell them. Right now, the bracelet that I'm most excited about is an EMF bracelet. So I'll just talk about it. So it's shungite, right? Who here is aware of shungite? It's a black mineral here. It's a black stone. It's mostly carbon. It's a really powerful stone. It's absolutely my favorite stone. And what makes it such an amazing ally is that it has these little energetic structures in it called buckyballs or fullerenes. They're these truncated icosahedrons. So they're like soccer ball shapes. And what they do is they actually attenuate negative frequencies. So a negative frequency is a frequency that has a counterclockwise spin to it. So it draws energy from things. And so, you know, that's not a judgment. It's just, that's what it is. Also, you know, there's frequencies that come from devices, you know, like our Wi-Fi, EMF from our phones, different things like that affect our frequency, that kind of pull energy away from us. So what makes this such a powerful stone is that it neutralizes those frequencies. The people that discovered these properties in shungite won the Nobel Prize in the 90s for it. I mean, it's used to clean up nuclear waste. It's used in water filtration systems. It's used in all sorts of stuff. And it's just, yeah, it's a healing stone. It's a grounding stone. You don't have to clear it. You don't have to charge it. But it essentially neutralizes things. So it neutralizes any negative aspects, and it literally takes the edge off of not biologically friendly frequencies. So like a Wi-Fi, if you look at a sine wave, like if you're looking at sound, it goes up and down, in a wave. Well, from mechanical devices like Wi-Fi, it is boxy, so that doesn't feel very good on our physicality. So it actually can take the edge off of those frequencies as well. But when you mix shungite with other frequencies, it actually can start to have other effects. So essentially, shungite is great for neutralizing, it's great for grounding, it's great for taking the edge off of these frequencies. But then if you add a frequency such as silver, it actually starts to produce a healing field. So silver is a healing frequency. That was one of the main uses for it, back in the day. That's why it had so much value as currency, is because of its healing properties. That's why people would eat with silver spoons. We had silverware. It's because of that, those aspects. It actually is an bacterial. I don't know if it's antibacterial. I think something like that. But together with shungite, it actually starts to produce a healing field. So those two together. So we've got shungite, we've got silver, like actual silver on here, and then we have selenite as well. So selenite, or satin spar, I believe is what it's called, but people most refer to it as selenite, is a really beautiful it has a really beautiful energy to it. It's a stone that has a really beautiful energy. You can use it to clear other stones. You can use it to charge stones, but it's almost like a white liquid light. So it's really good for clearing and also just producing good energy. And then you mix that with copper, which moves energy. So copper is also a great healing frequency. And so the copper, when combined with these other frequencies, actually produces a really cool effect. So that's what we've got, these that we're going to start to make, and all the bracelets that we're going to be making are going to be charged as well. So this particular setup here isn't really great at holding like codes. So I put codes into all the bracelets that we make because crystals hold information, right? The matrix of the crystals hold data, so we can pump them full of codes. So all of the bracelets we're gonna start to make are gonna be pumped full of codes. They're gonna be made to order for people, and then I'm gonna put codes into it. Take a look at whoever's ordering it, and then put codes into it. And also when we make them, doing so with light language as we put them together. But this one is mostly meant to help move energy and clear energy and just be an overall ally for your energy. Great for sensitives, people who are like, empaths, really clairsentients, people that are sensitive to energy. This is my favorite by far. So we're going to be creating a lot of different products that have these type of elements to it. So shungite and silver products, like phones and stickers and all sorts of different stuff. But that's the one that I'm excited about. So if you're interested in that, you can just shoot me a message, and I put it up on the website. It's new, so I've just launched a website, icelingmagic.com, and it's got like a Shopify shop on it and whatnot, so you can look at more info on that. But it's kind of a new venture for me. So yeah, I mean, you can give it a try, and we'll make sure that I don't mess anything up. But if you want to make sure we get everything exactly right, for now you can just shoot me a message if you want, and we can make sure we get you hooked up. We're also going to be selling some other types as well. So we got a tri-wave type here. Now these are aura quartz, so they got that like nice iridescent kind of thing to it, and then also silver plated spacers. But these ones are holding the essential, the tri-wave frequencies. So the blue ray, the gold ray, and the magenta ray. And you can go to the website and check out more on that. But again, we're going to be pumping these full of organic crystal codes. So, and we're going to have a bunch more too. I don't want to make this big advertisement, but if you're interested in that, take a look. There's some other stuff that I'm going to be offering on there as well. Yeah, and also like that class, I mentioned it earlier, we're going to be doing a class on the 27th of August, and it's meant to be kind of like an entry level, but it's meant for everyone. And I'm going to be sharing tons of like practical techniques and tools. It's going to be on Zoom, so we can interact. It's meant to be fun. I don't like to be like too static, so we'll have fun with it. It's going to start out with an activation and a healing. So we're going to do a big healing and activation in the beginning, and that activation is really designed to help trigger your own inner gnosis of healing. So a lot of the techniques I'm going to be sharing in the class are things that I kind of like just naturally figured out by getting into meditative states. So I'm going to share those meditative states, the practical techniques that I use to get into these meditative states, why they work the way that they do, that then allowed me to start to recognize some of these different energy healing modalities, tools, techniques, and I'll be sharing those. And now these particular techniques that I'll be sharing are what helped me activate naturally my light linguistics. So the movements, the mudras, those type of different just natural things that are in you, it's really designed to tap into more of your innate inner gnosis, your own inner awareness of however you work. So that activation is going to be designed to do that, to start bringing in your own data, but also a healing as well. And then we'll go through the class and have a Q&A. You can ask questions. The website is islingmagic.com, but you can go to the link in my bio and there's stuff in there. And you can just shoot me a message. Like, just if you have questions or you're interested, just shoot me a message. My messages are open on TikTok, and you can shoot me an email. That's totally cool. You know, I have a link tree. There's a bunch of stuff in there. But yeah, if you're ever in doubt, just reach out to me. You know, I'm always available, and you know, I usually, well, not always available. I mean, I'm always down to chat. I will get back to you as soon as I can. But there's not a ton of people that message me. I'm not that popular, so just shoot me a message. You know. All right. Well, let's sling some magic. Yeah, islingmagic.com. And if you go to ty-el.com, it'll send you to my link tree. You can go to the link in my bio and find all that stuff. I'll be selling crystals too. I'll be selling like what I have right now. And I'm going to be pumping those full of codes. Anything that you find on that website is going to be pumped full of codes from me. For whoever orders it, whoever we see the order, I'm going to be doing my woo-woo stuff into those codes specifically for you, as delegated and facilitated by your highest self. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to put this in there. I think that they need this, or but it's just going to be all from the love shelf. So yeah, if you're interested in that, just know that they're going to be pumped full of love. How many will be in the Zoom? A maximum of 96. I doubt we'll get anywhere close to that. And of course, if you can't make it to the live class, the replay will be available too. So, you know, it's going to have all the information. I'm going to have a PDF too, so it'll have a lot of these techniques, so you can follow along in the presentation. But if not, you can also refer back to it afterwards. So it's going to be a huge data dump. So I'm trying to like make sure I don't like overwhelm it, like, because I have it all, like all these different tools and techniques written out. I'm like, I want to give it all, but I also don't want to overwhelm it. So I really want to focus on the ones that are that I use, that helped me accelerate into healing, and that anybody can do. Like these are so simple, and they're so like, they're just practical. That's why it's energy heal, like practical energy healing is the subtitle. Feeler to healer, practical energy healing, and it's like when you figure it out, it's like, wow, how didn't I like realize how simple it really is. So, but yeah, let's sling some magic. Enough chatting about that stuff. All right, let me get grounded. All right, so if you beautiful souls are interested, I would like to open up our hearts. So, well, first, let's go ahead and establish our diamond pillars. So our diamond pillars, part of our organic architecture, part of our diamond light body, that we all have, that we really, it's good to build out. It's part of the structures that really support our own natural healing process. So unfortunately, a lot of what we go through on this planet is because we're being bombarded by other energies, things that are not in alignment for us, that are not our energy. So establishing your diamond pillar is essentially setting you up in a space so that you're not getting messed with. So if you're interested in that, I'll talk through a little process, and I'll also assist. But of course, use your own discernment. You know, I'm always going to have the best intentions, but always use your own discernment, especially over things like TikTok and over social media. Because even if people mean well, that doesn't mean that everything is for everyone, right? So I can have the best intentions, but not everything is for everyone. So if you're interested in that, feel free to relax. I would take a few breaths. I'm sure my energy was all over the place and a little hyperactive for a little bit there. So we're just going to bring it down. I'm just going to reaffirm my intentions of establishing the architecture that I have set up. Now, for everybody that's interested, I'm also going to offer some shortcut codes that will help the space that you're in. So what I'm going to do is, you can just do this with your imagination. I'm going to hand you a gold cube, and this gold cube is going to have a code in it. Now, just with your imagination or your intention, you can emote it if you want. I want you to take that code, put it in your room, and initiate it. So what this code does is it's going to help to clear out the space that you're in. So I'm going to take this code, and then I'm going to hand it to you. And you can use that in your room. This will help to clear the space. And then we're also going to intend, if you want, we're going to intend that we place an Arcturian headset above your space as well. So an Arcturian headset is a piece of technology from the Arcturians, of course, who are kind of like technological magicians. So they're they like really into technology stuff. But this is like a device that kind of looks like one of those hairdryer things from the 50s that ladies would wear, you know, on their heads with the little curls and whatnot. And it's going to go above your space, and it's going to have a pink strip around it. And in that pink strip, we're going to place a code. And this is going to help to like siphon out any kind of like shadow parasites, what we call shadow parasites, kind of like just energetic leeches, mosquitoes, bugs, can even be entities that are not in alignment. And allow that to do its thing. Now you may start to feel stuff. Your body feels like it needs to move a little bit. You might be building up a little bit of tension. If that takes place, allow your body to move a little bit. Go with the flow. You maybe start to release a little bit, because this will also do the same for you. So not only your space, but if there's any kind of shadow parasites, it will start to assist you with those as well. And then we're just going to go ahead and start to build out our diamond pillar. Now, I'm going to be intending to connect with your highest consciousness. And we're going to ask your highest consciousness to establish the appropriate geometry for your specific templates to help build this out. So we're going to manifest a certain structure in the pineal gland. It's essentially going to be two geometries that come together. Now this represents the merging of polarities. So it may be two triangles, like two-dimensional triangles that make like a Star of David. But it also may be three-dimensional or more. So a three-dimensional Star of David is what we would call a star tetrahedron, or a Merkaba structure, what people often refer to as a Merkaba. So one represents masculine, one of those tetrahedrons, and one represents the feminine, and they spin counter to each other. We're going to ask those to spin at the appropriate spin rates for your templates in your pineal gland. And these are going to spin up. And then we're going to intend to move these down from the pineal gland, and it's going to move down through your central pillar, so through your divine line that houses the energy centers. You may perceive it as like a sphere of light. You may actually perceive it as like a silver six-pointed star, like the Star of David. Some people refer to it as a hierophant. And we're going to move that down through that central column. It's going to move through the throat and the high heart, and the heart, through the solar plexus, the sacral, the root, and it's going to continue to go down through your central column, and it's going to stop about a foot below the feet. And then we have a center there. And once it's there, it's going to begin to spin up faster and faster. And it's going to produce like a liquid light platform. And this platform will begin to emit liquid light that rises up through and around you. So it's at least 3 feet around. So if you were to extend your arms, you wouldn't be able to touch the side. So it's going to rise up in a cylinder. And the cylinder is going to go up through and around the feet and legs, the hands and arms, the torso, the neck and head. And it's going to stop about 1 meter above the head. And then we're going to take that geometry from that bottom platform and we're going to move it right back up the way that it came. When it's ready, it's going to, we're not trying to force anything here. We're just intending. So it's going to go at its own, whatever pace is best for you. Now, as it makes its way up, I'm just going to wait here a little bit because the group has a little bit more resistance. So we're just going to let it do its thing, not force anything. It's going to move its way up. And as it goes right back up the way that it came, it's going to go through the root, and we're going to activate the root. We're going to activate the sacral, solar plexus, the heart, the high heart, throat, third eye, crown, and it's going to go up to the top of that cylinder. And once it gets to the top of that cylinder, it again is going to spin up and eject another liquid light platform. That's going to seal us into this cylinder of light. This is what we would call our diamond pillar. And there's many ways to do it, but this is how I've been guided to establish this. So the cylinder is going to begin to fill up, and we're going to connect directly to pure consciousness. We're going to source consciousness, all it is, from that top platform up through a different energy center. So it's going to portal up through a different a gate, we'll just call it that, and access just pure consciousness. And then once we connect to this, we're going to move that geometry from that top platform. We're going to move it gently down back and into the heart. And once it goes in the heart, we're going to stay in the heart there for a second. We're going to expand that heart frequency. This may activate like these beautiful, like what we might refer to as aurora frequencies. So these like pastels and iridescence may also begin to fill up this structure. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to open up our hearts right in the center of our heart. We're going to crack it open, and we're going to imagine this beautiful blue frequency. And it's going to start like a blue light that grows out into our chest and fills out our chest with this beautiful blue light. And then we're going to place a structure called a truncated icosahedron, so like a soccer ball shape. It's going to be made of diamond. We're placing it around that structure. It's what we refer to as a C60. It's a certain structure. And then we're going to expand this light in the chest, which is going to expand the structure so that it goes all the way around your energy field. And 3, 2, 1. We'll expand that out. And then we're going to open up the heart again. We're going to crack open the heart, this time with a gold frequency. It's going to fill up the chest. And then we're going to put another structure made of diamond that's very similar to the last one. It just has more faces. So we refer to this as a C240. This has to do with the number of angles and faces on it. And it's also going to be made of diamond. And we're going to expand that out so it goes around that last one. So it's like nested around. There's a bit of space between it. So in 3, 2, 1, lock that in. And we're going to do one more layer. So we're going to crack open the center of our chest again, this time with like a magenta light, a magenta violet light. We're going to expand that out. And then again, a very similar shape, but this time it's called a C540, so it has more faces on it. And this is going to be made of a kaleidoscopic chromium frequency, so like mirrors of these beautiful iridescent kind of colors, like rainbows. It just reflects all different high frequencies that goes around it. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to expand this so that it goes around all these other structures. And 3, 2, 1. We lock that in. Then we're going to place a flame, a white flame around the outside, and once that white flame burns off, it's liquid light, gold liquid light. And once that burns off anything, then we're just going to place a rainbow ray around that. All right, and then we're going to open up our hearts. We're going to use a code that's going to assist in helping to crack open our hearts. So if we have any walls around our hearts, which most of us do, or we have troubles tapping in to that feeling of opening our hearts, this is going to assist with that. So we're going to connect directly to the constellation of Sagittarius. You don't have to know what it looks like, the constellation. We're just communicating with the collective consciousness, the archetypal energies that are associated with Sagittarius. We're going to ask Sagittarius to send us a code that helps crack open our hearts. So it's for heart opening and expansion. And a white stream of light is going to flow down from that constellation. And it's going to go down to our crown. And then it's going to move down and into our heart space. And then through this light, this stream of light, there's going to be a jade green cylinder, and it's going to have a code in it. And this is going to flow down through this stream of light, down to our crown and into our heart space. Now I want you to just feel into the center of your heart. The cylinder is going to spin up in a clockwise direction in the heart space faster and faster. It's going to be spitting out these frequencies that help to open up our hearts. It works with our physical anatomy, like the different endocrine system, and other systems that help to really tap into those love feelings. So what I'd recommend now is, if you can, bring up happy thoughts. Like, think of something that gives you that love feeling. It can be a loved one, it can be a puppy, a kitten, it can be something that you really love. Just trying to tap into that feeling of that love, get that warm, soft feeling in the center of your chest. And then just observe, just really place all of your awareness in the center of your chest. Where your awareness goes, energy flows. We're going to be cracking open that feeling. Chihuahuas. I guess I like Chihuahuas too. But I was thinking about Chihuahuas. Like, oh yeah. And then I remember a couple Chihuahuas though too. They can be they're like humans. Some can be quite sassy. All right. So how's that feel? How's that feeling? What did you experience? You're most welcome, Bash. Burped a lot. It's good releasing. It's a great sign of release. A lot of people with Chihuahua thoughts. I love it. Felt your heart flutter, says Lizzie. Yeah, that can be experienced. You can feel pressure in the chest. Sometimes you can even feel a little bit of pain, but that's okay. That's part of it. It can be really opening it up. Bonnie says crying in a good way. Beautiful, beautiful. Molly says tingles and smiles. We love tingles and smiles. Shri says pain at first, but it's dissipating and warming up. Well, that's a good sign. It's a good sign. Cracking it open. It can still be working. We really want to be present with it as it's happening, right? I'm still feeling it. So really just feeling into the center of the chest. And we're just going to have this feeling just continue to fill our chest for a couple more minutes here, and then we'll sling some magic and we'll do a transmission, see what comes through. So the intention of the transmission is just to tap more into those love frequencies. I think a lot of us have been moving through a lot, and there's a lot of discordance and a lot of frustration in the collective right now. There's a lot going on. We're going through a pretty big transitional period. So I think that we could just really use some more love, and we can use just tapping into more of those euphoric feelings. So that's going to be the intention of the transmission. And really, aside from that, really just assisting people into tap into more of self. That's really it. And it's always going to be facilitated by your highest self. You're guided, delegated by your highest self. I felt a huge opening at the top of my head too. Beautiful, Michelle. Lots of anger in the world. Yeah, Doc. Yeah, it's been tough, especially in, kind of, people lovingly call it the Muggle collective, right? Because they're going through an awakening process. And when you go through that awakening process in the beginning, a big part of that is, recognizing the discordance in the way things are, right? That things are misaligned and it can make you angry. And a lot of times we get angry because we don't know what we can do about it. We're upset because there's an insecurity, there's some kind of emotion that anger is trying to suppress. It can be sadness, it can be pain, and a lot of times we'll lash out with that anger. But yeah, we just gotta really support each other, know that it's all part of the process, recognizing that everything has purpose, but that doesn't mean bypassing physical action either. It's all love and light, but we gotta do the grounding stuff too. We gotta do the physical action so that we can actually make the changes that we want. So all right, I'm excited to sling some magic. So if you're open to receive, just relax. I recommend having your eyes closed, if you can. Obviously I wouldn't be driving or operating heavy machinery, because who knows what kind of experience you can have when we do this. So I recommend being sitting, but just be present with whatever you experience. This is something that's very personal to you. Everybody's going to have a little bit different experience, but don't worry about watching me. Please don't watch me. It's cringy as it is, but just be present with you. It's all you anyway, so we're just stimulating these experiences within you. And then that way you can share it as well with everyone after, because that helps everybody as well, especially people who are new to this stuff. Because I know that helped me a lot. I would feel a lot and not know, like my ego structure would be like, I don't know, maybe not. But if somebody else said something similar, I was like, oh, okay, I did. That's what I felt too. So we're just going to ask for everybody's highest selves to step in. And we're going to ask any aspects, guides that are for the highest good only, of course, to step up. And in the transmission, and after the transmission, no harm will be done, no energy will be taken that is not freely given out of love. It'll be in alignment for the highest good of all only, and only those that are open to receive will receive, and only what's meant for them. And of course, we're only working with organic coding, so no reversals, and no AI tech, no of the fallen systems. Alright, just relax. We're going to try to have it not be too intense here. So just relax, feel your body, become hyper aware of any sensations you feel in your body. You might feel pressure, you might feel tingles, you might feel heat come up, you may start to burp or yawn, cough, you may even have emotions come up, you may cry. Whatever you feel, I really recommend to lean into it, like without tensing, of course. So like whatever sensations you're feeling, like really feel into those sensations as relaxed as possible. Just really be in that receiving state. Seriti sitara wasuntam pamutani kurakiwi kwans chiri iro taufu hale kanne akanama yakutu aswitwa chera di wantono kaur umartisi ki wakius ko hansana no puate atama ki puatama tu beber tu papasiam kurutu paski antere chiwe war tu su afa harandu roto mamman te mamanto be mato kur kuana te puasuri ali kurandura tamiar kusku etepia kiri chedu kutara do kuseme nangati ko dana motarda nan diri dia nere kator kusurtesa te shatortu santan dire krachanturutu pa meki kayatu ya shutanima ke muritasa lui wahalu kona mara a li kuron kukuru kutawi je muta santiri kiskiaka tut awekwa te de qui a yakanakta de guande woro gorra numra shandare sikide kiro kutasana to pete mardia ci per kingri ngri arangni aki arangni handara kene ani ko to wata ci so tarti si ki puardasi churut ar shantor ki santi sianto so umbarda kire ke targa serie ko tene ko tare mosari wat te ro kuswari morji posa kene ke yatsu de marato piperoti ci de tu san tu san te tu water dita ci de tu san tara mot hat horshe nandire kiro aranto hammahana nure kwayaku Klakima na sale ki alato jalukuye kin santi kiski haku kawa kulukama pe mahatu kama tawa ha alata lirita elarto santuti ki musia santana tusa wa ana teru ano tu grosso tursu sam pat la leche na le ku a na usu ta lesha Kema lua luku a waha ne kaya kemua tanua tuya fi tisisiwe suantere swa kurukusu hafa wakana ki ana andure ki provasure te mazzato tutto cewa tuya tutto yimana kutar ta saber ki nakta ki banti pro kutar saber ki mkia ki pro kutar kutar to saber to bene manda kutar mi barto kutar to si parti fashion ti asar to saber to yimara to kutar kutar ko saber kutar parto mi kakia cewa to kunni pro kutar te bene ko saber yimara kutar ma kutar ti pa ki ku ke ne ke de pe asur te mar ko saber ya tu cewa to riesce a narcasare saninderetes ja ikoko awahalo mahranis de kiasan danto asamarati biari je kwero tomburisha turisha tarakaska ku aru je pohatu ungo kalo ku de parshi niendo diana de dus asha wahaku ko akale nere tu koski je de tu hawer chendu de tu shuva di marki parati vasavi ku mi marto fasatian te dai tu tawa ku kora C'era kawara kumungra yawatu kura yebishi kwasa tesi atura shinai c'era kuski hanga pa hawa handur memes eti ne yatano and then whoop comes the excuse me and the releases yibaswahan ho amori I apologize burping is one way to help release energy. Maybe burping on your end, yawning is common as well. She handi lo kaska mahato kimara de piano to tipo new windy to the patata to which what would you kutara of the merki marcus. She never took me a good anecdote and could have been a good energy recording the winter to Kuzama to Fatia to Swati and Kutara Shimmer could have again good anecdote Matthew Sakura Kutua. Cheproku Sever in economy and the Pasava Kutarazmatic and Ekata Pasava Kutima Kutara Miara. Kepiamor the Mano to Pari, wish wandered to Baratabanka Square to embody the Manakuta Pacific in Matiano Kutarati Ota, Jet Wakarakaska. Andaka hipoki wanda kutarame manya na kutaku kuheku chamian kanai kanu hanana kataya kakero ta sorate ya eto rino tarate mukai herni sareto koroku liru rora laru wira polewita witu kawi hiti kimu alato rushat kimu wato pusha lakwa lulima luli fatora Look, I swear it sounds like a Muppet. Look, Alita. You're truly underwater. You're a Monica. Poco, or the morning, Gloria. You will give a in it. You will choose a yokara cosini. Ah, you correct, Corcodia, Macari. Corcotti, monkey, po, Nibor, the mechanic, ringo, take a monster. Hiti dia, the Ningudi, you went to Cocao, don't need a good Domeka, he Kuriku, Karu, Table, you Kuriku, and Duki, the Kumakura, Chiwakuri, Diki. Kikuru, Kibu, Karibu, you. Dove casi tu shalinganai, la luti ti puia lani goduri, ero kima kiwa uruduri, baluku. Balukur, dimugari, kuri puri mukau, kari puisa nuri, prodi mikurukuni, wow, You kami, karuma tiro, tasa vakor, nibri, presurini, kain korkan kilo.
Leri, Lauro, Nyama, Kuringe, Yo, Kule, Lori, Yepe, Nikusha, Leleku, Leringuri, do you a younger to be a car, Lokuku, Kuki, Uko, Ini, Get all good English, Back with tu gango que wakura karalu yarea.
Are we good? Confirm. Confirm. All right, and then we're gonna do a grounding code as well. So this grounding code assists in grounding to a higher density. So we're gonna take out 3 rainbow colored star tetrahedrons. We're gonna place a code in each one. We're gonna place one on the crown, we're gonna place one on the heart, we're gonna place one on the root, explode the crown, explode the root. Boom, all right. And you have to let me know what you experienced. If you got some water, I definitely recommend to drink some water. Definitely recommend to drink some water. Setup looks different, different space. For a few months. How did it go? Thank you, Andrew. How are you doing? You're back home, right? Are you back home? So good to see you. Felt incredible. My feet and legs are still tingling. Awesome. Yeah, let me know what your experiences were. I think that's funny. You know what? That's exactly what I thought, Amber, too. I could feel them trying to come in. So yeah, that's funny that you say that, because that's what I felt. That's why I laughed before. That's why I started to giggle before they started to come through, because I could feel the energy of those aspects like wanting to come through, and they're like just like they're always like, you're being too serious, Ty. Like, you're taking yourself too serious. I'm like, oh, I know, dang it. Because I'm always like, when it's coming through, like, especially in the beginning of the transmission, there's just like so much that like it kind of like makes me rigid, and it like makes me like only like, it feels like only certain aspects can come through just because of the intensity of it. So like I could feel that coming through to loosen things up, and it actually helped quite a bit. So they're cool. They look like multi-dimensional Muppets too. Bubble Muppets. So much pressure on the crown and nonstop yawning. Awesome, beautiful, Amanda. So amazing, Lauren said. I was more connected to my heart than I have been in a while. Thank you, beautiful. It's all you, sister. You're most welcome, Alexandra. I haven't had a laugh therapy in so long. Awesome. Felt like I had a warm weighted blanket covering me. Lots of tingles. Awesome, Janine. Whole body was tingling, says Fire Goddess. Awesome. McCall said, I am pregnant. My baby loved that. Felt his kicks. Oh, beautiful. I love working with kids. I worked on, like, the first day I started doing in-person sessions, I think I had 2 pregnant women and like 2 kids. So I know I'm supposed to work a lot with kids. You're most welcome, Jax. All tingly, back in LA. Awesome. I'll have to get the lowdown on how your trip went. I pretty much just today came out of quarantine. What were the funny ones called? Heart opening dancing. I don't really label them, and usually my aspects don't really like want to be labeled, because a lot of times it's mashups. So it's more of an expression of energy. So there's different like characteristics, right? You know, that's why they kind of sound like cartoon characters a bit. You know, like that's what it feels like to me, is that it's like they're cartoons, like different. You know, like, but it's the energy behind it. So it might sound like, or like, but like the energy behind it is much different. That's like just how it gets expressed through my physicality in those kind of like weird cartoony ways. Oh, thank you, Kim. Yeah, I want to do the cacao too. I'm gonna do that soon. I'll report back, because I haven't actually sat and done a ceremony with cacao, which I've done almost everything else. I don't know why I haven't done cacao. I had some really like high, I already had some really like high grade cacao, ceremonial cacao that I have never used, but I definitely want to use yours. I'll start with that. And thank you so much, sister. That meant the world to us. I love you so much. Doc says, full body energy healing. I haven't stopped chattering since I've started. It was awesome, Misty. Oh, beautiful. That's awesome. Doc, I would love, if you're open to it, oh gosh, what's the best way to do that? I don't know. Have you sent a testimonial? I don't know if you have or not. I would love to get a testimonial from you. Did you email it? I feel like you did do one. If you haven't, if you did do a testimonial, let me know and I'll try to find it. But if not, I would love to hear to grab a testimonial from you if you're open to that, because I thought that was awesome. That session was really a lot of fun. And now that I have the site up, I want to add some more testimonials and stuff on there. That's something I hadn't really cared much about, but I think it's time to kind of like share people's experiences, because so many people have so many experiences that are amazing, and like for me, one part of aspect of it is like, oh, I don't really care. I know who, who's meant to come to me will come to me, and if I'm meant to work with them, and people would be ready, and blah blah blah. But what I wasn't really fully considering is how much it helps other people, because a big part of my role in this next phase that I'm moving into is really about bridging, and kind of like I didn't really want to be like a teacher really per se. Like I didn't think that felt right, because I'm like, oh, I'm just helping people remember. But like Spirit's really pushing me to do more in that way, and just kind of share my perspective on stuff, like in these classes and whatnot. So having that can be really helpful to help others, right? So it helps other people, because I know when I was first getting into energy work, that made a big difference, is hearing other people's experiences, because the ego structure really like if we're new to this stuff, it can really battle with it. Like, is this real? Is this not real? Did I feel that? Did I not feel that? Maybe that, like I had profound experiences when I first got into energy healing, like every day, But the next day I'd be like, no, I don't know, maybe it's fake. Maybe, you know, maybe I didn't really feel that. Like, is that person fake? I don't know if that's real. That's a little bit too much. And then it took me like a year of doing energy work every day, like energy healing every day, before I finally was like, okay, it's real. Even when I feel like it's not real, it's real. So sometimes that can really help other people who are new to it. And we can really, you know, bridge people, because it's time for people. It's really time. I understand that roller coaster, right? Yeah, and then when you get your light languages activated, right? Your light linguistics activated, there's just no doubt. That's what, you know, that's the great thing about getting activated, is that once you experience what it's like, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like, you can't keep it from coming out. Like, it's like, you're along for the ride, and then you're like, what the F was that? And I also added more sessions too, session types. So I had my sessions turned off for a while so I could go through my healing and integration, but I turned it back on, and I added a couple different new session types, maybe a few. But I added one for spiritual spa, which I'm excited about, like a spirit spa, which, you know, most of my sessions are really focused on like healing, activating, upgrading to really, like, it's all about next level, like really like hit the ground running. Which with that comes a lot of like integration. It comes with a lot, you know, like of processing. You know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And sometimes we just want to feel good, right? Sometimes you just want to be pampered and come out from a session and just feel awesome. So that's what I created that session type for. So if you just want to relax and just like feel awesome afterwards, just be filled with love and just like pumped up. Like, my thought was like, if you have a big event the next day or something, you can just get like just juiced up with goodiness, you know. Like, if you're like, I imagine like if somebody's has a wedding the next day, you know, the night before, so you just get all juiced up. And then I also just added just light linguistics activation session too. So if you want to get activated, like, and just focus on that, that's what we'll focus on. So whatever way your light linguistics come through, that is an option now too, instead of having to go through an upgrade. And what was the other thing? Oh, I added transmissions too. So if you want a transmission like we do, if you've come to a live where we do, like on TikTok where we do personal transmissions, it's essentially that, but on Zoom. So you don't have to be there. It's going to be recorded regardless. So I'm just going to start at the time. If you show up on Zoom, you can be there live for it, which is great. But you also will have the recording. So yeah, even if you don't want to be there, or you're not available to be there, you can still get it, and then I'll deliver the recording. But I think that's it. How's everybody feeling? What do you know about Lemurians asking for a friend? You know, what do I know, or what am I aware of? So I have awareness of a bit about the Lemurians. I work a lot with some Lemurian healing frequencies, and I mean, it just really depends. A lot of what I would know as far as anything kind of tangible is only through what other people have expressed. Yeah, so that's why I try not to talk too much about stuff that I don't truly know about, but I am aware of, you know, them is more of like more of a like feminine type energy. That doesn't mean like female energy. It was more soft, more in touch with nature than like, let's say, the Atlantean times. They did coexist at one point, but for example, Mu, I think it was even older. Its aspect of Lemuria was a little bit older, but yeah, I've read a bunch about it, but I can't really say for sure, because I don't have memories yet of those experiences. And even if I had memories, I would just say that it's from, you know, whatever I perceived or whatever information I downloaded. Do I work with Toth? No, I don't. I mean, I have, just not currently. We have different. We'll see. We'll see where he goes. But currently, we have different agendas. Let's see. He gets himself in trouble sometimes. Let's see. Rachel says, my light language is activated but need guidance. What do you recommend? If you're looking for guidance, like in a session, I have a coaching mentor type session. It's really just an organic session. So if you have any questions you want, you can ask anything you want. We can also do activations in it or healings. But really it's my main clairs are clairsentience and claircognizance. So I really, in those sessions especially, we just go with the flow and assist in whatever helps you best at that time with whatever intentions that you have. So if you want some like personal guidance, that's the way to do it. But you can always send me an email, or you can shoot me a message, and sometimes you don't necessarily need a session. I'm happy to answer any questions, and if you have any questions here too, I'm happy to answer questions. Is that an ancient language you speak? Some of them are influenced from ancient languages, some aspects of it. It's more of a multidimensional tool. So it's, we call it light linguistics or light languages. Light is information, light's data. So it's an exchange of information. It's a transmission of data, and we can use it for different reasons we can use it with different functionalities. Essentially, it assists in whatever your intentions are. So some of it can kind of be more like ancient languages, some depending on, I just saw a big old light. Some of it can be, closer to some of the old, like the earliest languages that we know as languages, but a lot of it is not like language as we know it. So that's why I usually refer to it as linguistics. It's just because it gets expressed in different ways. So this is technically light linguistics, light language as well. It can be written out in like glyphs and script and such. But yeah, it's more like music is what I would most compare it to. So like with music, it's more meant to be, you feel music, right? You don't need to know what a song is about to feel the emotion behind a song, to feel the vibe of a song, right? It's meant to be experienced, and it's going to be taken through the filters of each individual uniquely, even if it has lyrics, right? Some people don't even hear the lyrics or hear the right lyrics when they listen to music. It's really just about the energy and the vibe. So it's a transmission of that energy, that data, that information, and that can be received uniquely by individuals. So it's technically a quantum coding language. It can affect things like your DNA. So your DNA is essentially like it gets affected through many means, but it is reprogrammable. It can be programmed. And so this is a tool that helps to activate dormant DNA. And that's one of the ways we use it. It also can be used to shift energy. So help release stagnant energy. It can be used to manifest. It can be used to activate like people's gifts, just whatever's already in there, like whatever gifts you already have can also be upgraded as well. So people who are claircognizant or clairsentient or clairvoyant, which they can see spirits or can really tap into astral, they can always get those things upgraded. So it's a tool to do that. So it's essentially like hologram hacking coding language. If that makes sense. I understand that, Sober Girl. Sober Girl says, I'm going through so much my family doesn't understand. It's tough. I'm going through a new, hey Julian, I'm going through another phase of this myself right now. So I'm having to break through another barrier of identity and step more into who I truly am. And it can be really difficult because the way that I am is very, weird, right? And I've already had a lot of trauma and a lot of experiences on that end of things where feeling like people just can't relate in general. Even before all this woo-woo stuff, it was already difficult to be understood, and that was something I always had a hard time with. And then again, if I'm going to continue to heal and going to continue to embody what I truly am and get into more and more alignment, it's really it can be uncomfortable and people aren't going to understand, but it's going to be, there's nothing more painful and nothing more, exhausting than being someone that you're not, right? So I know it can feel really lonely and, it can be an emotional process to go through a spiritual awakening. But the people are gonna understand eventually, and if you are able to be yourself the best you can be, it's going to affect them in ways that they're not necessarily conscious of up front. They are going to see that you are being your authentic self, whatever that looks like for you, and they may have resistance to it up front, but their subconscious is going to be taking things in, and it's going to give them permission to be themselves. A lot of times people will really resist other people, and when people are being authentic, because it makes them uncomfortable, because they don't get to be who they truly are, right? They're putting up a front, and that's why a lot of them are very unhappy. A lot of people are very unhappy is because they think that they need to be a certain way, and if they see others that are not the way that they think that they have to be, conforming, then they may lash out, and that's mock you and be really nasty sometimes. But it's really just because they're not getting to be who they truly are. So, but know that you're not alone. There's more and more people are waking up. Eventually people are going to recognize that all us weirdos and as crazy people were right. And we'll be there with hands out, ready to guide them through their process. We're waiting on the other side. We'll be ready with like breakfast when they decide to stop smashing the snooze button. We are the normal ones, right? Yeah, we're not like, that's the thing, is unfortunately a lot of people feel that we think that we're special or something, like, oh, I can do these weird things, and if I think that I can, like, somebody might think that if I think that I can help people heal, right? It's always the person that's receiving it, they're healing themselves anyway. But if I do all these things and they think that I am assisting people in healing, right? Helping people heal from cancer or whatever it is, right? They think something that they think is impossible, then they think that, okay, well, they must think that they're special if they can do that. And that really rubs people wrong. They feel like, but no, it's like literally all of us have these abilities, right? We just are remembering a little bit ahead. That's all. Oh, absolutely, sober girl. Well, thank you for expressing it. Please feel free to express yourself. This is a safe space, right? What is normal, Amber? The meek shall inherit the earth. New moon, new you, new me. Wee. New we. I love it. All right. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention before I forget, because I forget a lot. I will be jumping on tomorrow in the day. I think it's okay, so it's tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be jumping on at 5 p.m. Central, so that's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to do personalized transmissions on TikTok Live. So if you want a personalized transmission, you can book a slot ahead, so you don't have to be there and go through that whole donation process thing. You can go to the link in my bio, and you can just snag a spot on there. It should be listed. I'm pretty sure it is. So if you're interested in that, feel free to take a look, and if the slots aren't all taken, I will we can take some more people, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So we'll do personalized transmission. So it's a healing, activation, upgrade, whatever comes through for your highest good. It's always going to include healing. So we are going to build a personal grid, so similar to what we did earlier. Set up your structures, then we're going to initiate like an automated clearing and healing process. So it helps to like flush the meridians. It'll vortex stuff out you don't need, brings things in that you do, and that process can go on the healing process from that can go on about a week. Most of the clearing will be done in the first 24 hours or so. We work with some clearing pyramids. You fold a bunch of healing frequencies, like more than 16 different healing frequencies, all sorts of good stuff. We have a healing code, so it's actually a Lemurian healing code. So we will give that, and you can use that towards whatever intention you want. Then I'm going to channel for you specifically whatever is in alignment for you for your highest good, as facilitated by your highest self. That can be healing. I mean, usually it's going to be healing, but it could include activations and upgrades as well. And then we wrap it up with a grounding code, or grounding into higher density. So yeah, if you're interested, or you can send me a message. If that, for some reason you have trouble with that, just shoot me a message. Still in recovery mode? I think I am too. I appreciate you being here, Spirit, and I appreciate your energy and your attention, your awareness. Hi, Yvonne. Thank you. It's good to see you. Lauren asked, do you have any tips for warming a cold, energetic heart and letting more love in, etc.? I would try to get to the core of why it's being experienced in that way. It's going to vary person to person. Sometimes we can shut our heart off because of trauma, because we've been hurt by others. Even if we're depressed, there's a lot of different reasons why we might shut our heart off. So first, becoming very aware of what that is, and then treating it as well. So sometimes for some people, it might be tapping more into their inner child and playing more, because we take everything so seriously, and we're always trying to do human things, and we have all these expectations for us. So allowing yourself to play might be an aspect of it. You can take down heart walls. You can just tap in. There's some physical exercises that you can do, some different specific like yoga poses, like different stretching to open up the heart, because these things are not just energetic, they can be physical too. So they can be held in the physical, in the fascia, and in the different systems. So working with the physical body can assist. You can affect it from a mental perspective, working through the programs that might have built those walls around your heart. The emotional aspect that I mentioned before. You can use tapping. If you see me going like this a lot, I'm tapping into my heart. I'm opening up my heart. You can do that. There's so many different ways. But yeah, just honestly, it's a lot about self-love. Giving yourself the attention and awareness to be who you are, and allowing whatever it is you're experiencing to be, validated. Because a lot of times we push stuff away. We shut our hearts down a lot. Qigong, yeah, Qigong's great for opening the heart. And if you want, Lauren, you can send me a message. Just send me a message on TikTok and ask, pretty much just mention that you are interested in that, and I will share a few different tools that can help. In the class that I'm doing on the 27th, a big part of the class is different ways to open the heart and work with the heart. So there's different stretches, how to do it like we did it before, to use a code to open it. Also, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. So when we go through in the class, we're going to go through a bunch of different kind of topics, and they each are going to have a ton of practical tools and techniques. So if one doesn't work for you, there's a bunch more that you can try, and then we'll focus on a number of them, but there's just going to be a bunch of them if you are interested. EFT is great. Yeah, it's awesome, especially if you have your your coding, your light languages activated. Like if your movement, your mudras and such are activated, you can really use the intelligence of your body to guide you where to tap, right? So just like your body moves you when you do this work, just set the intention that you're clearing something, and allow your body to tap. Just tap, 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 and it'll naturally send you to places that needs help clearing. So clearly my eyes are always somewhere, so that's where it led me. I was trying to go in here, and then it instantly went up to my eyes. But yeah, allow yourself to just do it intuitively as well. But you can also look up working with the meridian, so you can look at a chart of where the meridian points are and acupuncture points, and you can tap those. I don't remember what EFT stands for exactly, but you can look it up. it's very, very powerful. It's very simple. And then I know that in the actual modality, whatever EFT stands for, they often couple it with like mantras at the same time. So like a positive mental component to it. So saying I'm safe perhaps, or I'm loved, or like depending on where you're tapping, you might be tapping, you know, third eye and the programs that are related to that area of the body. Or, so yeah, I would look it up. It's great. So it's just like, there's just going to be a bunch of resources really in the class for questions like that. It's going to just go across the board. Yeah, great point, Spirit. Yeah, so Spirit Lit says the points will be sore if there's blocks. That's a great point. Yeah, if you feel like you're feeling a certain parts of your body and you feel like soreness in there, that's a great spot to focus. One aspect of the class as well is, a big part of it is going to be working with the hands, because the hands are holographic in nature. So that essentially means that, you know, every part of the whole is contained in any smaller part of it. So like in reflexology, for example, we recognize that the hand is connected to different organs and different parts of the body. They're also connected to different dimensions. So you can actually heal your whole body through your hands with that awareness and intention. So like palm readers, the reason why they can really good palm readers can tap into stuff you would never believe just by looking at your hands. And you can also heal yourself. So tapping into your hands is actually a really powerful way. I think they call it, I don't want to say that, I want to call it Jinjitsu, but I don't think that shiatsu, or I'm not sure. But there's also like a modality of working with the hands and like holding thumbs in different ways that can be really powerful in helping the overall body. Mudras are a really powerful way of affecting the whole body through these, what we would call axiotonal lines. So there's certain, just like the meridian system, there's certain streams that go through and into each of the hands, which we'll be sharing in the class. And they're connected to different harmonics. They're also connected to the different constellations, different organs. And so when you move your hands in certain positions, it changes the flow of energy through your whole being. They can actually be really, really powerful. And even just holding your hands in certain ways, like just holding a finger, can be a really powerful tool. So yeah, those are just some more things that we'll share in the class if you're interested. But I'm always happy to answer here too. It's not like I'm trying to gatekeep any information. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to share it all. Oh, thank you, Jessica. I want to really be on more. It's been a while, but also I got to be really careful to like honor my body and my energy too. So I tend to kind of overextend myself sometimes. So we'll see. I'm gonna take it slow, but I want to be around too. So I want to see everybody. I mean, it's always a little cringy. They come on here and just like blab away. Like I wish I had people to talk to, you know? Like I feel like I'm just like talking to myself. It's just like, when I think about it, it's a little weird. But I know you're all there. I can feel you all. I feel you all. But it's just a little weird. Yeah, so the session was intense. Lady Lake. Yeah, it was a good one. We'll do another one before I jump off. Matthew Miracle I Am says, what to do for Maui with your intervention? That's a great question. I think with what's going on in Maui, it's obviously a huge catalyst. And I think the most important aspect of it, from my perspective, is to start to do things like to take physical action. I think that's things are starting to come down from the template level. So things have changed up in the more subtle layers of reality that, you know, time is a little delayed when things get down here. And I think those things are starting to play out. So that's going to bring a lot of things to the surface so that we can address these misalignments as a collective. And a big part of that is to actually start taking physical action to make changes that we know are needed, and not let, you know, the powers that be continue to manipulate us. I think what's going on in Maui is it's heartbreaking. There's so many. It's a multidimensional situation. Maui is a very powerful, energetic point on this planet. very special. Again, also connected deeply to Lemuria and Mu. And so there's a lot that's playing out, like many layers to it. But I think the most important is for us to actually stand up and support Maui, the people of Hawaii, to the highest extent that we can, physically. So whatever we can do, doesn't mean like we have to necessarily, give money, but being supportive in whatever ways that they feel we can help them most, and really being there as advocates, and also like standing up for them when things that we know are not okay take place. And I think that it's just getting started. I think the majority of the mainstream collective is still in the dark about stuff, but I think this is a really big catalyst event that's going to bring things up to the surface where people can't deny it anymore. So I don't have just a straight answer. I think we should each feel into what feels right for each of us and what we can offer. We can always send love. That does have an effect. If we focus on love and we're in our hearts, it has an effect. It's going to have a positive effect. We want to wish for the highest, timeline. We want to manifest the highest timeline, and we do that through our hearts. We don't do that through malice or revenge or any of these ideas. But for me, it feels like in this particular instance, especially the physical aspect is really important. So if we can support them in letters or assisting, in whatever ways that the local community feels is best supportive from the collective, because there's a lot of history that goes into it that is kind of needing to be healed and reconciled. There's a lot of this stuff these are things that has happened for a very long time that had never been healed and there's never been justice for it, and I think those are really needing to take place. So yeah. We are allowed as a collective. Yeah, I mean, we're very powerful, and there's so much work that we still have to do. Like a lot of us are, a lot of people are waking up, but we haven't done the work yet as a collective. There's still so much healing. The systems have to really change. 2024 is a huge year. So the next few months are going to be really interesting. Mother Earth is shaking things up a bit. And so the next few months are going to be really interesting, especially moving into the new year, and then especially through the solar cycle of 2024, which kicks off in April, moving in all the way through into November of 2024. It's going to be a massive year. What that means, I don't know. It's impossible to say, but there's from an architectural perspective, like a quantum architect's perspective, the structures are there and the cycles are there for massive changes to come through. So this year is really important for trying to get all those misalignments aligned, release all that we're not, try to heal what we can that we know that we need to heal, which is why I've dove into it so hard this year. And I'm stubborn, man. I'm stubborn. So I know this is a big year. That's why I'm getting my butt kicked. So, and I'm really proud of Elena for deciding to jump in head first with me too, because we're both getting our butt kicked. All right, let's do another transmission here. Let's do another transmission, and then I'll probably jump offline. How about we throw out some intentions? What would people like to receive in a transmission? What can we focus on? What might be good? I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to be specific. You can be specific. You can be general. That's what I'm planning on doing, Amber. I did have lunch, a little bit of lunch, yeah. Integration, ooh, that's a good one. Healing, upgrades, balance, heart, shedding scarcity, upgrades, couple for upgrades, joy, Breaking collective generational traumas and embodying our ancestors and our own gifts. Ooh, I like that. Flow of abundance, of money, and mother healing. Focus, forgiveness, grounding, discernment. Oof. I wish we can just have a transmission for discernment. Yeah. Give unconditional love, clarity, alchemizing fear. Inner child needs love. Oh, upgrade integrations, releasing and growing, protection. Those are some good ones. All right, what I'm going to do now, I always forget that we can do this. So what I want you to do is actually, I want you to hold on to your intention that you want, because what we can do is we're working in the quantum field, so we can work on these intentions separately, actually. So I'll do the transmission, and it'll be, so it might take a little bit, but we will work to bring through the codes for each of these intentions at an individual level. Does that feel right? Okay, yes? Confirm? Okay, yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. So what I want you to do is hold whatever intention it is that you want assistance with. So whatever your intention was, you're part of this. So you are the magic in this. I'm going to be assisting my higher consciousness, and all the versions of me are going to be assisting each one of you with the intentions that you have individually. So it's really important that on your end, you're part of the process. So really hold that awareness when we go through this transmission. Allow yourself to bring up the visuals, perhaps, if it's something that you're trying to manifest. Really, like, use your imagination. If it's like something physical, really feel into that physical part of you. Like if it's let's just say it's the knee. If it's joy, really hold that awareness, like almost a mantra. I am joy, I am joy, I am love, I am love. If it's something like protection, really be I am protected. You're part of this process. So really, I can't do it unless you're really interfacing with it. So I'm going to assist in whatever you're doing on your end. So use your imagination, use your creativity. You can't mess stuff up. Your intention is what's most important. So if you're open to this, set your intention now. You don't have to watch me. I really want you to be focused on holding your intention in your awareness. Allow yourself to be fluid with it too. If it feels like it's going to shift in your awareness, allow whatever you're seeing to move the way that you want. Your intention is set, and then trust the process of what comes through. So we're just going to go ahead and establish that in the transmission and following, no harm will be done. No energy will be taken that is not freely given out of love. It will be in alignment for the highest good of all only. And only those that are open to receive will receive, and only what's meant for them. Again, we're just going to be assisting each individual with their specific intention. Only those that are in alignment for the highest good and the highest good of all only. And of course, only for those that are meant to receive. Deri anduro tu aturo tu hawata tu tatu te wetin ngi rakdari ne kodara ki woten mi te kadara to kusebere ngi maro tu ci tu kuta kusebere tu di maro kodara to kusebere ngi kadara ni maro kodara ngi kata ke maro kodara ka tu maro kodara ngi maro kodara ngi maro kodara. And this is going to be a little bit different than a lot of the other transmissions that I do. Ci tu tu maro tu di maro kodara tu maro kodara tu maro kodara te muta da monta de montana mata ta tu di uta ni maro tu ya maro tu ngi mo ke maro kodara messi bo di maro tu maro ne kodara ma sabara kodara pa yot cheko kodara to kodara ni maro tu maro sabara ni maro ta di la kodara ke pro kodara to muto para di maro to beni mati pro kodara wo sabara di maro kodara ni maro kodara ke ti ma sabara to musa ti pro sawar ne katori par shi ke ne ko ti ko zamara to beo wa wana muhammad maro kodara ma jaro kodara ni ma kazi maro so ne kedoni ke maro kodara pa ka ko mi ko tu bi maro kodara pa sabara di maro kodara ti ka tare ko ti ro sabara ni ke ti ni ma be maro kodara ko taro ko pa para ti per ko se per ki ni ma sabara to di maro kodara para to kodara ke maro ke ko sabara ni ke tu ni maro kodara ti pro kodara ko taro ko ta ko sakara tu ki ko su na te pusha mi tu ta tu te bante de mata tu ti porto perché che go caro ko vara con te per ko te che te ci di che usi che mi ricordo su te per questo vai che con una cosa per te che per chi ma che tu per ko ko te paglia ci pro ku 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 te ka tu ya tu la mundar le ko te ka tu vi vale ko se per le sapere tu samara tu per se che ma te ko te per mo shu mi te ko sapere ko te ka tu che per ko na ka tu che ti
ki ingte ki ungara ku ta ingara ki pe ki wati ti pe ku ki hamba ku ku pa ku te ki wati ku te par ku ta ku te ni ki ni ki mo te par ku ni ka sana ku ta pa ki no ku ta ki che ki ku ta ngoro ku ku wate pe ku pa ni pa te mara ki mo ha to amahara to pe para to pe pa fera ku ta para to pa si fera ku ti ka se vara ki ku ta ku te pe ki pa te ku pe ku ti ku ti mara ka ta bu so ka la ya le wani mari ki mo na yu wale ku to ma ha wala whatsapp wa tu me ma ha na ta te ali lu asu ta wa wa antu pe mi kia ke lu u ola hama ra ni de antu aku kwa kia ra le kwa saro no ma si a wati ma tu tamia suka kwa kura kanguru ko ya rosha ye shui su andre pu si wata sha uts ta ka angra ki aku ki ma tu pues wata bi ma ta menu tua ki va swa am wasata waswa ya ta waswa hata namas de arti sar de tur de kisan de kuk akro kakwara ki keru krak wara tu au ku kungura mahatar de pias de pambana tune marti ni karatiata turu wari ni keru ku kwari nani muata no me di ma wala we wa hon we ma we wala ma wala we ama ale we ki per quale che un maru te we what was us ci was want to sapere che per to passare da quindi per poter che per yaro ti mera tutti si anza to was what per to ci was in maru di posso per che ne che per shu io ma ti mera to passa che per cosa per non sapere se mi con da posso avere io per to porto bene pete ve anzo per scegliere cosa con papà ne to per di mera con ci che non vuoi con ma con cao le vuoi ingere che pa poco qua e con le vuoi per biru con che per si ci warranta ta wa mahanu me ya raga ya quola qua electia che preoccupamente sa rete amburi pepis bis swan sun san senia si vuoi tu io senza la cosa si per tu bas sui hambu shwa hi woro do basiana tata wi swa hi mote makude wi ko han matwema ki wi wa haru hamara to pe wa shwi and so we was we ko le chiamo che to che a ko hana ko ki mai o kia te ere ti are ni sa to eso le tamen ho tara mo pe wa tu me po ato pe wa tu ci questo hatu ra ko la ko ta hungra shaki ko ere ko ki pi ko anguro ko ke ro ko ta te beta zabere ke saber ki ro ko ci vi hanguro ta passa ko ti was wa se hesh was so ra te se proto pensa per non ti proto ti ma ko ta pe ti ma ki auto ki ro ko ti en proto per to pa wa ci mi span sorto per
Good. Confirm. Confirm. Alright. You have to let me know how that found you. Thank you. Well, thank you to the 3 people that sent the superpower hands. Thank you so much, Diasendo. I'm sure I missed those when I was blabbing away or doing a transmission. So thank you to those who've gifted. Thank you so much. Thank you, Angela. That one. Thank you. Spine realigned. Awesome, Avian. Definitely need to ground now. Yeah. I did a little bit of grounding there at the end, but yeah, nothing's better than actually getting grounding. Getting you putting your feet in nature. Oh, thank you, Sangara. What's that? Hi, Jules. Oh, thank you, Amanda. Oh, thank you, Amanda. Oh, thank you, honeybee. Yeah, make sure you hydrate. Thank you, Elena. Fallon says I was burping nonstop. Huge release. Feel lighter. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Good. So glad it assisted. What am I saying? So, so it can vary. A lot of what I express is more like code, especially in that type of transmission. Oh, thank you, Tanisha. It's more like code than it is like a language. So, it's more of a like a programming language. So some of it can be translated a little bit, but most of it is just like pure frequency. Think of it kind of like the dial-up internet. You know, similar to that, but it can vary quite a bit. But we call it light linguistics, light language. I thought I saw Martha. Oh, I did. I felt my eyes pulsating like crazy in the beginning. Feel serene. Ah, awesome. It's good to see you, Martha. I always forget that there's people that can be in the space and not say things. So I always forget that. Dude, I am so like, I don't know if I want to say ignorant. I'm so like naive, I guess, about like conceptualizing that it's anything really other than the people that are commenting, and then me like talking to myself. Like I forget that there's even anybody else talking, or like anybody else actually watching. I'm sure there's probably lots of people watching that I have no idea that watch that never commented, and then I'm like, oh, you watch? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like I'm such a dork. But I appreciate everybody that hangs out and watches. I'm sure there's people too that are just watching because they're like, this guy is such an idiot. I appreciate just the same. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on, Dana. I guess I missed a new here. Oh, it's okay, Sharon. I will actually try to post it on YouTube afterwards. Let me try to write that down. Elena, remind me to post it on YouTube. So if you're interested in getting the replay, you can go to my YouTube, and you can do that through the link in my bio, and I'll post the replay on there. So you can go, there's a couple of transmissions that we did tonight. You can go back in and you can play them, and they'll have an effect because everything happens in the quantum fields where space-time's not an issue. So there's other ones as well too. Beautiful. Thank you, Martha. Yeah, I'll put this on YouTube. Sengara. I keep smelling freshly baked brownies. Nice. I love fresh brownies. I'm just about done for the night for transmissions, Star Cosmo. But I will be coming on tomorrow. So the plan is to be on tomorrow and doing personalized transmissions. There's only a few slots. So if you want to snag a slot, go to the link in my bio and you can do that. I have it. I'm pretty sure I have it posted. Let me double check before I say stuff. Oh, I totally was wrong. Let me post it. Dude, it's not in the bio. I'm gonna put it in my link in my bio right now before I forget, because I will forget. Sorry, I just don't want to. I don't want to forget this. So if you're interested, it's right there. A second. Yeah, boom, it's up. Sorry, I'm such a dingus. I forgot that I took a different I had a different link up there that I took down that was for all of the events, and I changed it just to the class. So, whoops. So yeah, so if you want to snag a spot, you want to reserve a spot for tomorrow, you can do that. So the link in my bio, you can reserve a spot for a personalized transmission. So that's going to involve healing, and often involves activations, upgrades. There's a whole bunch that's included in it, and you can see all that by going to the link in my profile. What was I going to say? But if the slots aren't filled up, we'll open it up for people to snag a slot when we're live too. So, and yeah, again, I'm just gonna mention the class because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So if you are interested, I'm gonna be doing like an entry-level class. I'm just gonna have all sorts of stuff in it. So we're gonna be talking about like my foundational like philosophies on energy healing. I'll be sharing a lot of the techniques that helped me specifically as I was going through my healing process. So really simple, practical techniques and tools. You know, we're going to share different grounding techniques, opening the heart, meditation techniques. We're going to be talking a lot about working with the hands and using the hands for healing. A lot of feeling-based techniques and tools. We're gonna do. I can't forget. It starts off with a powerful healing and activation too. So we're gonna start it off with a big healing and an activation, a group healing for everybody. And the activation is really designed to help activate your own inner gnosis, your own inner healer. And that can happen. It's gonna happen in an organic way for you. That may come in downloads. You may. Synchronicities may pop up in your reality that are going to help guide you in the best way for you, and whatever else is best for you and for your highest good that we can assist with. But there's going to be a ton in it. And if you go to the link in my bio or islingmagic.com, you can find all that information. I have a big outline for it all, and you can snag a class. I want a great class for land. Yeah, so this is just the first. We're going to be doing a bunch of classes. So I'm going to be doing different classes often. I want to do at least a class once a month, and you're going to be mixed up. If you can't make it August 27th, it will be recorded and you can snag the replay. But we're going to have a Q&A, so it's on Zoom, so you can interact. It's meant to hopefully be fun. And I doubt there's going to be a ton of people, but if there are, we're still. It's set for 2.5 hours. That doesn't mean that's how long it's going to take. It may be a little bit less. It may be more. We're just going to go with the flow and, not take it too seriously and be sharing a whole bunch in that. So if you're interested in that, link in the bio. Also, if you're interested in those bracelets or any other of the encoded like crystals and stuff like that, you can shoot me a message, be like, hey, I'm interested. I want let me see what you got before I post it on the website. Let me know, and that way we'll make sure we get you hooked up. So I think that's it. I wish I could afford. Yeah, I'm gonna do free classes too, so don't worry, Phoenix. That was something that I was I want to do classes for free. This is something that Spirit was really encouraging me to have an energy exchange for this. So I'm kind of just trusting myself, trusting my guidance for this in particular. But I'm going to be developing a lot of free stuff from this. Like essentially, these materials, the techniques and stuff are going to be things that I'm going to be posting on TikTok and stuff. But the class is really meant to be intimate. We're going to work together. You can ask questions. But the information isn't something I'm gatekeeping, so it's there for everybody. And I've already done some videos, outlining some of the techniques and stuff. But TikTok, yeah, those are years ago or whatever. And of course, it's hard for people to find that stuff. And it can be a little updated and consolidated. You can have the recording. It's gonna have the healing. You're gonna have a PDF with all the good stuff in it. But yeah. All right, I think that summarizes it. Is there any other questions or anything, or anybody want to share anything before I jump offline? So happy to get to see everybody again, and I'm honored that we're sharing this space together. All right, I love you. I appreciate you. I will see those that are I'm going to be around tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, that's a great point. You just reminded me, Bella. So I want to, now I haven't committed to this yet, but I actually am wanting to do an event for, on the 24th. So what we would consider based on the star's position, the authentic alignment of Lionsgate. So it's a certain specific opening. Now I know a lot of people perceive Lionsgate to be on 8/8, and that doesn't mean that 8/8 is not a very powerful date, but if we're talking about actual Lionsgate, the authentic opening, it has to do with alignment. It doesn't have to do with like a date on the calendar, and that takes place on, I believe, the 23rd or the 24th, but I want to do that just for subscribers on TikTok. So it'll be subscriber only on TikTok, and I don't know how much it is. It's a couple bucks or something to subscribe on TikTok, but that's something I wanted to do to give back to subscribers, instead of doing like a Zoom or something like that. So if you're subscribed on my TikTok lives, you're all set, and I'll make an announcement for that at some point. I just wanted to make sure I got the class figured out first. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I'll talk all about that. I'll make a video for it, Ginger. I should do that tomorrow. I'll make a plan to do that tomorrow and just kind of explain it. And this is stuff, you know, that it's more newer awareness for me over the last couple of years. And this year, really just want to be a part of this authentic gateway opening and help just support the energies for that. So I'll help summarize it better soon and just make sure that I properly articulate things, because I have an awareness of how it works, but I don't want to say the wrong words or say the wrong alignments, and you know, that information be passed along that's inaccurate. So I'll post about that tomorrow. Take a look at the link in my bio, Bella, and I will let you know. Just stay tuned. You know, follow my page if you don't follow already, and maybe set the notifications for when I go live, and I'll share that. So. But I love y'all. I appreciate you, and thank you for subscribing, Melissa. Missy, I love y'all. I love y'all. Talk to you soon. See you in the astro. Bye bye.